Playing with Power MTG. Powerful cards, powerful formats. Be sure to check out Dragon Shield for all of the best accessories to protect your decks. TCG Player for cards at great prices while supporting local game stores. And Patreon, where you get awesome benefits for your direct support. We are back for another Legacy gameplay video. We are still very new to 1v1 formats, so please leave a comment below with any and all feedback you have to help make this series as great as it can be. Now, let's start out by showcasing our fighters this evening. First, we have Adam piloting Hypergenesis. This is a combo deck that seeks to cast a Cascade creature as soon as possible and cascade into a card called Hypergenesis. Once cast, it cheats out massive threats onto the battlefield and overwhelms opponents. Adam's opening hand contains a Violent Outburst, Simian Spirit Guide, Hypergenesis, 2 Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, Scalding Tarn, and a Misty Rainforest. Next, we have Ryan piloting Elves. One of the most powerful creature decks Legacy has to offer, Elves creates a large board presence very quickly to overrun opponents and win the game. Ryan's opening hand contains 2 Allosaurus Shepherd, Birchlore Rangers, Finehorn Elves, Misty Rainforest, Gaia's Cradle, and a Bayou. Without further ado, let's kick off this very vivacious video of Vindictive Villains. Adam wins the Skullbreaker Challenge and gets to start us off. Adam plays a Scalding Tarn for turn. He passes. Ryan draws and plays a Bayou. He casts a Finehorn Elves. He passes. Adam draws and plays a Misty Rainforest. He cracks his Scalding Tarn and his Misty Rainforest. He pays 2 life total and fetches up a Taiga and fetches up a Tropical Island onto the battlefield. He exiles Simian Spirit Guide from his hand and adds a red. He casts Show and Tell. Both players choose a card in their hand. Adam reveals Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, and Ryan reveals an Allosaurus Shepherd. Ryan suddenly realizes he's in trouble, and Adam ends his turn. Ryan draws and casts Nettle Sentinel. He plays a Gaia's Cradle. He taps Cradle for 3 green and casts Birchlore Rangers. He casts another Allosaurus Shepherd. Ryan reluctantly passes back to Adam. Adam draws and moves to combat. He attacks Ryan with Emrakul. Annihilator triggers and Ryan sacrifices 6 permanents. Then Ryan takes it and Adam passes the turn. Ryan draws and concedes the game to Adam. Before game 2, Ryan moves to sideboard. He takes out Archon of Valor's Reach, Scavenging Ooze, Wirewood Symbiote, Quarian Ranger, and an Elvish Visionary. He puts in 2 Runafowl, which are good answers to Emrakul, and 3 Assassin's Trophy, which will help against other large threats in Adam's deck. Adam also moves to sideboard. He takes out 2 Grizzlebrand, 1 Emrakul, and 2 Chancellor of the Annex. He adds in 2 Archetype of Endurance and 3 Ashen Riders. Archetypes will help protect his threats once they land, and the Ashen Riders will deal with Ryan's combo pieces and Gaia's Cradle. In this game, Ryan's opening hand contains a Natural Order, Heritage Druid, Allosaurus Shepherd, Gaia's Cradle, Dryad Arbor, and his London Mulligans are an Allosaurus Shepherd and a Wirewood Symbiote. In this game, Adam's opening hand contains an Archetype of Endurance, Ashen Rider, 2 Violent Outbursts, 2 Wooded Foothills, and a Misty Rainforest. And Ryan gets to start us off. Ryan plays a Dryad Arbor for turn. He passes. Adam draws and plays a Wooded Foothills. He passes. Ryan draws and casts an Allosaurus Shepherd. He plays a Gaia's Cradle. He taps Cradle for 2 and casts Heritage Druid. Ryan ends his turn. At the end of Ryan's turn, Adam cracks his Wooded Foothills, pays a life, and fetches up a Tropical Island onto the battlefield. Adam draws and plays a Wooded Foothills. He gives the turn to Ryan. Ryan draws and casts a Llanowar Elves. He casts Natural Order, sacrificing his Llanowar Elves. He fetches up a Craterhoof Behemoth onto the battlefield. Craterhoof triggers and all creatures get +4/+4 and trample. He moves to combat and attacks Adam for exactly 19, winning the game. In this game, Adam's opening hand contains an Elvish Spirit Guide, Simian Spirit Guide, Volcanic Island, Misty Rainforest, Snow-Covered Mountain, Shardless Agent, and an Ashen Rider. In this game, Ryan's opening hand contains 2 Dryad Arbor, 2 Glimpse of Nature, Allosaurus Shepherd, Heritage Druid, and his London Mulligan is a Natural Order. And Adam gets to start us off. Adam plays a Volcanic Island for turn. He exiles Elvish Spirit Guide from his hand and Simian Spirit Guide from his hand to add a green and a red. He casts Shardless Agent. Cascade triggers and Adam cascades until he hits Hypergenesis, and then he casts it. Adam puts a Snow-Covered Mountain onto the battlefield. Ryan puts an Allosaurus Shepherd. Adam puts a Misty Rainforest. Ryan puts a Dryad Arbor. Adam puts an Ashen Rider. Ryan puts another Dryad Arbor. Adam declines to put anything in. Ryan puts in a Heritage Druid. Then neither put anything in, then Ashen Rider triggers, and Adam destroys Ryan's Heritage Druid. Then Shardless Agent resolves. With nothing else, and an empty hand, Adam gives the turn to Ryan. Ryan draws and casts Green Sun Zenith where X equals 1. He fetches up a Birch Lore Rangers onto the battlefield and shuffles Green Suns back into his library. Ryan passes. Adam draws and moves to combat. He attacks Ryan for 7. Ryan takes it and Adam passes. Ryan draws and plays a forest. He attacks Adam back. Adam takes 2. Ryan sees he's not going to win this race, tries to think of an out, and passes back to Adam. Adam draws and moves to combat. He attacks Ryan with everything. Ryan takes it and Adam passes back to Ryan. Ryan draws and says, "It's do or die time." He casts Glimpse of Nature. He casts another Glimpse of Nature. He casts Nettle Sentinel. Both glimpses trigger and Ryan draws 2 cards. He taps Nettle Sentinel and Birch Lore Rangers for a green. He casts another Nettle Sentinel. Nettle triggers and untaps and Ryan draws 2 through Glimpse. He taps both of his Nettle Sentinels for green through Birch Lore. He casts Aquarian Ranger. Sentinels untap and Ryan draws 2 through Glimpse. He taps through Birch Lore and casts another Nettle Sentinel. Sentinels untap and Ryan draws 2 through Glimpse. He taps through Birch Lore and casts Nettle Sentinel. Yes, he found all 4. Sentinels untap and Ryan draws 2 through Glimpse. He taps through Birch Lore, floating 2 green, and casts Allosaurus Shepherd. Sentinels untap and Ryan draws 2 through Glimpse. He floats 2 more through Birch Lore and casts Heritage Druid. Sentinels untap and Ryan draws 2. He floats 2 more through Birch Lore and casts Wirewood Symbiote. Sentinels untap and Ryan draws 2. He floats 2 more through Birch Lore. Using all of his floating mana, he casts Natural Order, sacrificing Wirewood Symbiote. He fetches up a Craterhoof Behemoth onto the battlefield. Behemoth triggers and all of Ryan's creatures get +12/+12 and trample. He attacks Adam with Allosaurus Shepherd and Craterhoof Behemoth, killing him and winning the game. Ladies and gentlemen, what a match! Combo decks can win absolutely out of nowhere, and that's what both of these decks showed tonight. Adam's deck was pressuring Ryan the entire match and forcing Ryan to get to victory as fast as he could. In Game 1, Adam's turn 2 Emrakul was just more than Ryan could handle with his small army of creatures. In Game 2, Ryan's ability to get just enough damage prevented Adam from hitting the extra turn he needed to win. In Game 3, Adam's turn 1 Hypergenesis put Ryan on a super short clock. Ryan's turn had its share of luck and skill, and Ryan was able to turn that into victory. On a side note, each one of these games ended turn 3. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. What did you like? What could we do to improve? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.